Also, we didn't mention, but like shout out to BN for speaking on our economic situation on that.
Just went and blasted the government. Talk
Bro,
about the government, opposition is the people.
Do.
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
Exactly. Bro, what did he say? Freedom of expression.
But not freedom after expression. Yeah.
Bars.
I wonder who came up with that.
Shout out to him.
We out again. Oh nah, see them girls, them ready. Run. And them boys, them steady. Time. We out again. Aya baby ni kuonesha. Shida zako ni komesha. And are you tired of all that shit? So baby give me the permission. Nasema permission yako is all I need. Cause baby I'm a vibe with your energy. Ju unanimaliza call emergency. I wanna take you up into my galaxy. Control my baby njoo come on over. Who's you is your chocha. You know that I'm here for ya. Feeling good to go high tunapepea. Tunapepwa na mahewa. We out again.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 30% podcast. Podcasti de Latini. Yeah. I'm Sam.
Have you seen that trend? Have you seen that trend of people? Have you seen that trend of people trying to give their like daily routine in Kiswahili? It's so hilarious, man.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's actually peak entertainment, and it sounds exactly like what you just done.
That was horrible, man. What's up, man? The 30% podcast. It's us, man. We've been here for 133 episodes. Episode 133. I'm Sam. That's Afam. Afam is a producer. I'm also a producer, and we talk about the Kenyan music industry. And we are really excited that you guys are joining us today.
I mean, technically, we're all producers. I mean, everyone produces carbon dioxide, right? So, hey, listen, it depends on what context of production.
Utter woke nonsense.
Hey, listen, we are all producers.
Everyone produces carbon. Well, everyone is a creative, honestly. If you're looking at that, like even people who are sitting in desks. If you're sitting in desks, coming up with spreadsheets for your company, that's a creative because you have to really line them up, and then everyone is a creative. It's all creative work at the end of the day. So yeah, man, shout out to all the creatives out there, every single one of you.
Period.
Shout out to all the workers out there, man. The teachers, who else? the police. Can I shout out the police? That's such a touchy subject.
While we're here, shout out to all the industrial plants out there. You know, the people making our milk, our bread. You know, let's just shout out everyone. Now that we're shouting out everyone.
Shout out the politicians. Shout out everybody.
Shout out to the farmers. Shout out to the farmers.
Are holding us down.
Shout out to the farmers.
The farmers are holding us down.
They really do hold
sure.
us down for real, man.
Underrated, underappreciated. But yeah, what's up? What's going on? How's life?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling. Just still living life in New York.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Have I been up to anything interesting? I mean, I don't want to talk about streams for a fourth podcast in a row, but I do. I have really been getting.
You were watching
into,
Santi's stream? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was heavy. But I will reserve my thoughts about. I'll reserve my thoughts about that specific thing later in the podcast, guys.
All right.
That is called subtle foreshadowing.
Oh.
Anyway,
such a pro over here.
Bro,
what a pro.
Not just a pro, I am a consummate professional at my job.
What does those words even mean? Consummate professional. All right, sure.
Listen,
shout out to
those words mean affirm. They're just a different way of describing my being. Anyway, how are you, bro? How's everything on your end?
Uninteresting. Very uninteresting. But It will change soon. I believe at some point in my life, I'll become I'll be an outside guy. I'll be like fun. I'll be a fun person at just going outside and just linking up with people. At some point in my life, something has to change. And one day it will. But currently, we are coasting with what we are. I like being inside, though, and not doing much. Might need some excitement in my life, but that's not up to me. That's up to the people around me. So, but yeah, I'm just cool, chilling. Been working. And yeah, what else? Football season has come to an end. So even though I started watching football seriously in like October, September last year, it's come to an end, and I just feel like there's not like I'm on the very legal stream where I stream things. I just feel like there's nothing there except F1, and so just like, oh man.
Yeah, F1 is where it's at now that football is done. Yeah. So me I'm okay. Me I'm well fed. Although there's not going to be F1 this coming weekend, which is a bit of a bummer. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life over this weekend.
Just
no
not
football
one weekend.
And no F1.
It might all fall apart,
bro. It might. Actually, I realize why sports means so much to a lot of people, but let's not make this a deep podcast about mental health. So anyway, on that light note, Sam, let's have a podcast about other people's podcasts.
That's how you blow up. That's how you make it is by critiquing other podcasts. Critiquing critics. That's what this is.
So Prudence Tanui, aka King Kalala.
No. Why are you laughing? You can't laugh after you say someone's name. That comes off.
No. Listen, Big P fucks with us. I think. I hope.
Oh, Big P. Yeah, what did Big P do? Big P is hilarious.
Okay, well, Prudence Tonui, aka King Kalala, is part of a podcast that has been generating a little bit of buzz. It's called
a fairly new podcast too.
No Lies.
It's a new podcast. It just showed up actually. I think.
It's new-ish. And they're taking the streets by storm, by giving us all the edgy opinions that we probably would never find anywhere else. So guys, today we want to talk about the thing that's just been going around, which was, there's a clip of them discussing, and by them we are referring to King Kalala, to Frankie Just Jimmit, and Christine Nampira. Or is it Nampera? Essentially they were talking about how, well, I guess Christine was mentioning that Kenyans do not support their celebrities. And she gave examples of how when you go to social media, you see the likes of BN and you see the likes of Nyashinsky have relatively low followings. At which point, King Kalala was up in arms. They were both up in arms because they were like, yo, listen, what does me following artists really mean in the grand scheme of things? When I go for their shows, I pay VVIP for their shows. I do this, that, and the third to support their music. We listen to their music heavily, stuff. So it doesn't matter if I don't follow these artists, right? Because I'm out here actively supporting the artists. And that brought a lot of mixed reactions online. So Sam, I want to ask you the question. Do you agree with that sentiment? Do you agree that as long as you're supporting an artist by listening to their streams or contributing to their streams, as well as buying tickets to their shows, maybe even merchandise and stuff like that, doesn't really matter if you're not showing support digitally, online, on social media, etc., etc.?
I feel like it's a deeper... It's a question that requires just more thinking than usual, because then it brings up the question of
that sounds funny. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
It brings up the question of what what's more important for an artist? Is it support now or support later? Support later meaning, like for example, and those are the two sides where if you're actively just going out and buying merchandise and paying for shows and streaming and everything, that's support now, where that's money going into the artist's pockets, and they're reaping the benefits of the work they're doing. Or is it support later? Because having numbers, it's almost, it leads to the first thing, but it's like a secondary thing where it creates the opportunity for the artist to make money. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's just a big question in my mind. It's like, okay, like, do you support the artist now, or do you support later? Of course, I don't see why you wouldn't do both. like someone saying, let's pick an artist. I've gone to Calligraph's show, and because I've gone to Calligraph's show, I'm not going to follow him on Instagram. Or I'm not going to like his posts, or I'm not going to engage with him on social media because I was at the show and I've already given him that support. He doesn't need all this. Like that doesn't make sense. Realistically, people should just support artists across the board. Like, do as much as you can. If you like this artist, if you enjoy their music, if they resonate with you, like, support them across the board, right? But the going back to the question, I don't know. In my mind, I feel like it's more important to have the artist reap the benefits. I mean, to put the artist in a position where they reap the benefits of their art. So in that case, it's like actually doing the things, like going for shows and buying merchandise and actually streaming their music rather than liking their posts on social media. And like and share doesn't really do much in the short term, I think.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's a well-balanced answer. But I have to act as a devil's advocate here, Sam. What's more important, though? What's more important?
It's the shows. It's the shows. It's the shows. It's the merchandise. Yeah. It's the back in the days where you used to buy actual albums. It's the buying the albums. It's because that all contributes. Right now, the numbers are all funny. So, and the numbers aren't what they are. It's everything's a fraction of what it used to be. So even the support that you might be giving an artist in those other ways, you have to do way more for the artist to benefit from them than you probably had to do like 10, 20, 30 years ago when you were buying vinyls and cassette tapes and floppy disks. Did people used to put music on floppy disks, or is that in my head?
Yeah.
Is that like
heavy. No, that was a thing.
Yeah. So currently, in today's time, it's probably advised to support the artist directly, and where money gets to them directly through shows, through buying merchandise, if they're not in a 360 deal. If they're in a 360 deal, then they're just cooked. Like this. There's nothing you can do for that artist.
Oh wait, that's interesting. Wait, that's actually an interesting thing you've just mentioned. Wait, if you know an artist is in a 360, wait, do you show solidarity for them by not buying their merchandise? Because you're like, screw the label. I'm not supporting this label.
And now you're putting now you as a supporter have to do twice, 3 times as much for that artist to benefit. Like, that puts the supporter in such a the fan in such a bad position, because now I'm having to do so much for you to actually benefit, or rather, like when you're indie and you can make all your money for the year from just one show or whatever it is, or from a song if it blows up. So yeah, it's 360 artists are just cooked, man. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what you want to say.
No, but it depends. It depends on scale. Because if you're Beyonce level, signing a 360 deal isn't as bad as an indie artist. But here's the question. Okay, so, in terms of what you've said, I do agree with you largely. And I think the reason why these guys have come under fire, and they have, bro, like, a lot of people have been online just talking about how we are uplifting the wrong sort of podcasts in the space. It's true. It's true.
People online are bored, bro. People online, they just want to have their opinion heard. That's it. Like, they're just sitting there and waiting for something to pop up so that they can type away. It's just ridiculous. It's get a job or go do your job.
No,
I know some of those people have jobs.
Because even somebody was like, I really hate that 80% of podcasts coming out of Kenya is this type of brain rot content. The other 20% is unfamous people doing really good topics that are worth listening to, but they don't get as much traction. Is this
That's
our
true.
identity?
That is so true. Yo, who is that? That he needs a Pulitzer. That or she, whoever it is. That's
It's
facts.
a she. Yeah.
That's facts.
It was a she.
No, that's true though. It's
okay,
true.
so going back to, I mean, that's our lived experience. Anyway, going.
You have to say that. Edit.
No, I'm not editing that out because I commented on that. I quote tweeted that, and it actually got a lot of traction. But
That's funny.
I was gonna say, I think the reason why that clip got a lot of response online was one because of the way she was adamantly being loud, and I guess that's King Kalala's personality. But also it's because it does matter how many followers somebody has and how big perception-wise we see these artists like on the digital spaces, because whether we like it or not, social media is a big facet
Perception
of
is everything.
our lives today. In 2025, it is. And the reason why perception is very important is not only because of clout. A lot of people want many followers because of clout, but it's not really only because of clout. It's also because that perception acts or can contribute to leverage, right?
Yeah.
And if you're able to leverage your numbers, your engaged numbers, that can open up so many doors for you as an artist, right? If you have high engagement on your social media, brands are gonna be willing to give you a bag to do things. You're gonna get more deals. You're gonna be able to even leverage more if you're signed on a label and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's not completely useless to just follow people and have because we also need to have that perception that our industry is doing big, because you see people saw BN on Breakfast Club and or people who've never heard of BN because they just they follow Breakfast Club, and if they go on his account and they see, oh, okay, he only has a few thousands, they'll be like, okay, he's a relative, and that's just how people are in real life. They see things at surface level and don't really look too deep into it, because as we know, BN is a huge artist, right? We know how impactful he has been, but other people will look at that and be like, oh, no, it's not
exactly,
that big.
yeah.
I mean,
from the outside, they're looking at it,
you know what I mean?
And they go up to his numbers as his Spotify and one of them, and they're like, oh, this is pretty low for someone who's...
And it's... But,
yeah.
No, and I agree with you, and it's bad, because even when you go to Spotify, that's another one, the fact that we're only just now getting artists who are breaking the 1 million stream threshold and stuff like that, it's really not a good look on our industry. It makes us feel small. And the problem with us feeling like a small industry is people won't invest enough into it. You know what I mean? They'll lowball us when it comes to investment. And the less money that there is circulating, the worse for it is for everyone, even you smaller artists, because then you'll just get less of the pie. That being said, I do agree with you, because there are artists who have large followings that are not engaged. You know what I mean? And that's essentially very pointless, because if you have 3 million followers and only 5,000 of those are engaged,
shout out
so
to all
funny.
the bot accounts.
Exactly, man. It looks funny when you're trying to do things on that. It is an epidemic when you're trying to do things on that scale, but you don't have the real life numbers to back. So, like Sam said, it is a mixture of both. You can't discount one or the other. I think they both work hand in hand.
Especially because the industry is moving towards social media now. And essentially social media is what we're talking about in terms of following and everything. So in addition to Spotify and those and YouTube numbers and all of your views and listens, Yeah, and of course it's a weird thing just because those numbers really don't mean, we don't really know what those numbers mean as much, and so the fan is relegated to a space of just blind support without knowing how much an artist is going to get. And it even makes it worse because now there's different regions of the world, and then like if you're selling a CD in the States and you're selling a CD for what, $10, you'll translate that across the board with whatever currency it is, and it might still remain the same. But now if you tell me that a stream a million streams in the US is worth how many thousands of dollars, and then in Kenya it's worth $300. It's like, okay, like how as a fan am I supposed to actually support the artist? But then it just comes down to do as much as you can, and it's up to the artist as well to do their math and figure out where they are getting the most value for their time and their skills, and then communicate that to their fans, not in a beggy way, because some artists are really corny with that, where it's so cringe. Well, where it's like, yo, guys, hey, support. So one of the things I really don't like, even though it's become it's very normal in the streaming world and YouTube, is thank you for the super chat. It's like, oh guys, for you to comment you have to super chat, and for you to do this you have to super chat, and all of that business. It just feels, it's a side point, but it just feels weird to me.
Doing that is kind of cringe.
Yeah.
But for a lot of the big creators, like, people super chat off of their own volition. They just do it to do it. But then I also have very many thoughts about that. I think it's mostly an ego thing, because a lot of people super chat on creators who don't need that money like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're actually being generous, you'll go and super chat on a small creator, you know,
yeah,
or give like a really big donation to a small creator. But most people do that so that
$4. Come on, right?
But even like sending Kai like $100, you're doing that so that Kai can say your name, and then you can feel like that dopamine rush. It's more about like the ego. There's a whole I can talk about this for 5 hours.
We know.
But anyway,
but that's cool.
So one thing that I do want to say that I don't like, though, is the recent trend. It's not really recent, but the trend of like artists now, when we talk about social media, of like artists almost having to become social media influencers. I think you kind of touched on that. Like, it kind of sucks, man. Because you see a lot of artists like complaining that, okay, I've released a song, but now, my manager is telling me to make TikToks
and all of that. And that's become the default comment for artists who don't want to do it. Like, it's if you scroll TikTok, it's always the label says I need to make TikTok, so here you go.
Yeah,
they don't want to do it. It's not fun, and if it's not fun for the artist, it's not fun for the consumer. Because if I like an artist and I look at him and he just looks like he's been forced to do something, I'm going to be like, I'm not even going to. It will take a lot for me to engage with that art or whatever, that piece of content, or creativity, whatever it is. So it sucks, man. It's the age we're in. But yeah, listen, go support your artists.
For sure.
Figure out where your money is coming from and direct your fans towards that. Don't make it cringy. Don't make it weird. Just direct your fans towards that. But yeah, I think we had talked about this earlier. But then speaking of Bien and everything, like I had a chance to watch that interview. The interview he is on Breakfast Club with Charlemagne.
The annoying thing about, sorry to interrupt, but the annoying thing about podcasting is like things happen in real time. Like when we were recording the last podcast is when the thing came out. So now this sounds like old news, but like, bro, like we couldn't talk about it then because we were recording then. Sorry, it just annoys me. It just annoys me that that's a thing.
Breaking news. Breaking news 1 week later. But we had talked about it. So yeah, I watched the interview. I'd actually like to get your thoughts on this, but then I personally felt like, so here's the thing, coming from an environment that really strives to be something more, like a lot of creatives and artists are trying to be part of, trying to identify with the Western Western creativity. Like they're taking on that identity for themselves. I cringe when I see a lot of these artists on big platforms, because a lot of our artists go up there. Let me not say a lot of, I don't want to put that on people, but then many of our artists go up there and they try to be something that they're not. Like it's an accent, it's laughing at jokes they didn't get. It's all this strange stuff. But then I just want to applaud Bien, because Bien went up there and he just seemed like he was himself. He was cool, he was calm, he was collected, he was eloquent, he did everything the right way. I found out new things about him. I didn't even know he was a communications major. Bro was just doing university to check it off, which is nearly all of us at this point. But yeah, he was very composed, man, and I like that he took that image up there. Like, it doesn't have to be. People sometimes try to be too cool. Go up there with 500 chains, never worn a chain a day in their life, probably rented them and everything. Bien is out here saying that he could have carried chickens to the to the show, but he couldn't. So I don't know. I appreciate that aspect of it. Just him being him and answering questions and not trying to be too cool or trying to give Charlemagne and his team an image of Kenyan and Kenyan art that doesn't exist, which is kind of what a lot of people do. So shout out to him, man. That was pretty cool.
No, you're right. He really did. He did a good job representing us. And yeah, he didn't try to be more than he is. You know what I mean? That's genuinely how BN is like as a person, which is cool. I remember last podcast I was like, he should have gone with the chicken, but I mean, he explained why he couldn't. That would have been interesting.
You guys in New York, you guys don't have chickens running around. That's crazy. Like, I can't imagine a world where there are no chickens running around. We need chickens running around.
I guess so. I haven't really seen chickens running around, so I guess that's a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. So I think so my mom, I sent her the interview to watch, and the first thing she was like, I don't like this guy wearing the red shirt, in reference to Charlemagne, because she felt like Charlemagne was trying to trip him up. Yeah, that's exactly what I was telling my mom. I was like, yo, everyone usually has strong opinions about
his personality.
Charlemagne.
That's why he's such a big radio personality.
But you see, that's the thing. That's the thing that I found interesting, because, you know, as we know, Charlemagne has been somebody I've known in my life for like 13 years because of just watching his things.
Yeah.
But like for my mom, who's never like had any of his content, like she felt like he was like really trying to trip Bien up, like the mention about asking him about his sexuality and stuff like that. Like she was like, nah, I don't like this guy.
But see, he handled it. He handled it really well too.
Bien handled that really cool. Well. No, and bro, I feel like he showed them that like he had like an intelligence with the way he dealt with the answer, the questions, and the way he answered them. Like, we don't look like scrubs. We don't look like, bro, you know, like, it's like, yo, Kenyans
imagine if it was, let me not do that. There's a couple of artists who, if they had gone up for us, oh boy, Kenya would have gone viral for the wrong reasons.
No beef, and it's not me who said these words, but somebody was in the comments saying how, like, imagine if it was Diamond Platinum's there. I didn't say
why
that.
Is that the image? That's who was in my brain.
Afam did not say that. This was a comment that I read.
That's who was in my brain when I was saying that. No, there's some people who are not trained. Bien is obviously trained media, and I guess his degree helped with the whole communications things. But then he went up there well. There's one thing I really like that he said, and that sort of answers the question that a lot of people ask. Where, because Charlemagne, I think it was Charlemagne who asked him why. Was it Charlemagne Envy who asked him like why are we always striving to make it in the States? And that's a question that we have, because a lot of time we feel like our identity is almost tied to the American music economy. And he said that when you win in the US, you win in the world, which you almost know, like it's at the back of your mind, but then just him putting words to that makes sense. And from an artist perspective, like
does.
when you win in the US, it's a global win because everyone is looking at them. So that makes sense.
But it's an unfortunate truth to have to contend with.
Yeah.
Because it's even when you look at the value of a stream, you know, like if you're getting streams primarily from the US, you're making more money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate that the world has kind of like made it so that winning in the US is almost like more valuable, even monetarily and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the case, but it kind of is what it is. I do like how they were mentioning that, you know, when it comes to like listening to music, they want to hear something that they've never heard before. Like, and it got me thinking about how sometimes we try and make music that sounds like the West, but that's uninteresting to them because they make that music already.
They're used to that. And they want something different.
And they do it at a high level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do. And so that kind of brings me to what we prioritize as Kenyan artists. I think we have a lot of Kenyan artists who are authentic. And I think Kenyan artists, we mix and match like our genres, which is nice. I think we do need more boldness in terms of being comfortable being Kenyan on music, in projects, etc. Just the way they do it in the Nigerian scene, where it's like it's not I'm not frowned upon, but like it's the norm. It's the norm to be hyper proud of, like, you know what I mean, like the Nigerian culture and stuff like that. So I think that's something that I took away from that, and it's like, I think the artist who's really gonna like break through from East Africa, from Kenya, in the Western markets, it might not be like a Western leaning artist, or maybe it'll be one who uses Western, like, I don't know, soundscapes, but like is completely authentically Kenyan. I don't know, but like we need to like have more supremely Kenyan sounding artists. I don't know. It's I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
I do. I like your point of the being comfortable. I think it's being comfortable on both sides, because you can be comfortable in your skin where you're not afraid to show your culture in your songs and your music, and then there's the other side, which is not really talked about, where some people are not proud of their culture so much that they lean too much into it when it doesn't make sense. And then that's where you have musicians, when you know that they could be doing so much more, their music comes out sounding like it should be on a BBC documentary, and it's just Maasai beads and everything everywhere. You need to like being comfortable with your art.
Yeah.
It's resisting the need to conform, but also resisting the need to do too much. Then the question can arise, can you do too much in your music? I think you can. I think some people just try too much to identify with their culture, so much so that it's not relatable anymore, and it just seems like you're trying hard. So yeah.
That's true. But I actually do want to talk about this topic, but in a different context. So I said I was going to talk about streaming, and like I said, I watched yet again. I spent the week watching Asante.
You just wake up in the morning and throw on Santi. Goodness.
That's not even an exaggeration, bro. Like, I did that one day. I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna see this stream. And it was a stream of Santi putting on like some underground artists in his in one of his streams. Essentially the idea was he had like 10 of them come through to his house, and then he introduced them to his audience. They're like, and for those of you who don't know, Santi goes by Cruel Santino. He was a
legend
big
in the
part
underground.
Of the Alte, he's a big part of the Alte wave. the Alte wave in Nigeria. The biggest song that people kind of recognize him by is called Rapid Fire, if you're interested in looking for that. But anyway, so he was just out there like introducing them to his audience. And then at the end, all of them made music in the house, and they were separated into two teams. The producers were there, and then they made like music, and that's cool. And I was just looking at all these kids, and I'm like, wow, they're super like young, talented, but not so dissimilar from the people who have interacted with back home, because even them, they are very also inspired by Western culture and stuff like that. But they found a way to like really properly fuse it with the Nigerian culture. Anyway, I say all this to say, I don't know why there's not like an equivalent support for like our underground / Alte artists. Who are doing similar things. Because, so he would introduce like an artist, Lua.mp4 or Zay Level 10, for example. And I'm like, I don't know who these kids are. But then I go to their Instagram, I go to their Spotify's, and they have numbers.
They're doing decently.
Like they have like, they have like, 40,000 monthly listeners, for example, or something like that, which isn't big, but like in the underground scene, that's viable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was just looking at all that stuff, and I was like, damn, why is it so dissimilar here? And then I see Jovie releasing music, and Jovie released the song 247 recently, and it's not too dissimilar to what these kids are doing. Yet I feel like Jovie doesn't get as much support. He gets a lot of support, don't get me wrong. Jovie gets a lot of support, but he doesn't get as much support like for breaking the mold, hopping on like opium type beats and stuff like that. But he's still rapping in Sheng. I mean, it's Shrap at the end of the day, right? But he doesn't get as much support, like Kina Swahili Papi and Ekumbo. Like, shout out to them. They've been out here for a minute, but like, their movement hasn't like, it hasn't blown up the way like it could have, for example. You know what I mean?
It had a period where it was catching a little bit of fire, and then
very
it just
promising.
stagnated.
Yeah. Kina Albizi, for example, and stuff like that. But like, I feel like we can rally around some of these people a little bit more. And I want to ask you why you think like, where's like the disconnect between like Jovie being elevated to being more mainstream, because Jovie has been around for a while. And then there's another mini conversation to be had about the state of Shrap and, why it hasn't like panned out the way it should have. But so maybe answer the first one first.
It's also frustrating because someone like Jovie, who is, I mean, he's been the past couple of songs that we've had him on, he's like been rapping. And there's good raps coming out of that side of things, especially now that the other rappers, like the blockbuster rappers that we're supposed to be having, they aren't really doing much, honestly. It's not much coming out of that camp. I don't know. Let me say, I'm not exactly sure where I can pinpoint the where the disconnect is. I do feel like it's a cultural thing, because I don't know if the mainstream accepts the music, accepts rap in the way they are presenting it. It's completely different. It's very new school.
That's a bar. A bar.
It's very.
Wait, say that again. Say that you don't know if you don't know.
I don't know if the masses accept rap in the way that the newer kids are presenting it.
They're presenting.
Because it's a completely different culture. The rap that we all supported and like played and everything, that was the Kleptomaniacs. It was Kalamashaka and them. It was Gidi Gidi Maji Maji. It was theirs felt a lot closer to, I'm talking about now my generation, because I realized that sometimes we have conversations and then we leave out the fact that like we're talking from a specific age range. Like for me, that kind of rap, it just felt like it had more to it. Something Bien was saying and he actually mentioned it on the interview, where he said that back then when 50 Cent was popping, like 50 Cent was popping in the US and people in his village were singing, were rapping along to Many Men. These days, the people at the top, Kendrick is not going to, no one is playing Kendrick in the villages right now. And it might be a thing of the time and how people communicate their struggles through time. Sometimes it could be just the culture in the way that maybe the struggles people are communicating resonate a lot more with the people, resonate a lot more with the listeners than maybe in a separate time. These days, it's more internety. I don't know if that's the one way I can put it. It's just more, there's more of a modern twist to rap, and it's quick, and it's sometimes the concepts are half-baked, but that's what makes it cool. It's like it's more based on aura and swag than raps. And so maybe just the way they're presenting it's not connecting. Yeah, but I
see. No, yeah.
Just saying that you can go. At some point we have to move away from what was old and then figure out what's new. So it's now up to the field to figure out how to make the new rappers, the drillers, the boom bap guys, the underground guys, the Shrappers, all of them, how to make the new rappers resonate with more of the masses than just their little cliques, which is, I think, a big problem that we're having. That's why it's not crossing over.
Well said. I agree with you. I agree with you for the most part, because, yeah, I mean, because Kina Jovie, and we've just had a conversation about being authentically Kenyan. But I think the reason why I'm really excited by things like, Shrap is because it's mixing cultures and then offering something new because of that, like, combination of cultures, you know what I mean? As opposed to just like trying to rap in English over a boom bap beat as a Kenyan, you know what I mean? Then it just becomes like you're really just mimicking. But like if you're doing Shrap over a yeet type beat, like you're offering something kind of like unique. Or even further, if you put Afro drums on that yeet type beat and then rap in Sheng and stuff, that just like makes something completely unique, which is what the kids are doing like in Nigeria. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's just like maybe our industry is a little bit slow to react to newer like things.
Maybe it's the beats too. Maybe it's the beats as well. Like if you throw on an unbookable beat and listen to it without vocals, like that's a joint. I think it's difficult for people to throw on like a yeet type beat these days and like be vibing to it. It just doesn't resonate.
But for me, that's like even the Jovie stuff. That shit is hard, man. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't know. It's an interesting conversation to have, but I think Jovie will definitely receive his flowers very soon, because it seems like he's on a run.
Yeah.
If he keeps going, and I think he's carrying the Shrap scene right now, man. Yeah, not gonna lie.
And just on a side point, question: do you think he should just keep doing it, or do you think he should, like when an artist starts popping off and they're making good art, good songs, and they now have to kick into a gear of, okay, I am an artist and I need to move like an artist, almost like what Bien is doing. Do you think Jovie needs to do that, or do you think he stays in his lane and it just comes to him naturally?
No, he needs to keep on doing this. He needs to keep on doing this strategy, because his strategy now, like ever since he dropped Boy, was drop an extremely hard snippet and then drop the song. Like after like a few weeks, he needs to keep on. He needs to rinse that like pathway. He needs to do it like another 2 times and then put together like a project. I think he needs to really put his foot on the gas, and then also make sure that the visuals are still very, very compelling.
What about the business?
So he's gonna have
side of it. Like, what does he do?
What do you mean? What does
he do? What does he do to escape just creating really dope tracks that just stay at a certain level and don't break boundaries?
That's a difficult question. Like I said, I think he needs to keep at it and hope one of these things really like pops off. Ultimately, that's all he can do, because then with that like buzz around his name, then maybe he can start leveraging that for more things, and then having more money to invest into doing like shows. Maybe he could with this buzz and with this like momentum through his own show, maybe put on some other small artists like as the under acts or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like but I think ultimately he just needs to keep on like turning the screw and releasing this music in the same way with amazing visuals. So just investing more, like he just needs to keep investing the way he has been on the videos to make them as compelling as possible, and then see if he can like now maximize on the YouTube front. Just make sure like the numbers are looking good on YouTube and shit like that. See if he can get partnerships on streaming so that they can help push his numbers and push his work a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then from there, I think we'll start to see something. Yeah. But right now, I'd say he's carrying the Shrap scene. Boutros, I wouldn't say has fallen off, but like Boutros became a little bit more mainstream. And I think for Boutros, what happened was he landed on a hit. And from there, it just...
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Hit songs ruin careers, bro. Like, it's crazy. Let me not say
ruin. I wouldn't say ruin.
Let me not say ruin, because that sounds bad. Hit songs, they have a way of taking you away from what everyone knows you to be and just focusing you on one thing.
Exactly.
And I guess that's what I mean. I don't necessarily mean ruin in the bad way, but then it's like people who are really rocking with him as a Shrapper.
Because Angela was not Shrap. You know what I mean? And so I'm sure close. in his head he had to like fight the he's like, okay, me I'm Boutros because of Shrap and all that stuff. But what really put me on was this. So what do I do? You're in a crossroads. Like, do I keep on doing Shrap? Do I keep on doing the stuff that really put me on? Then it becomes like confusing. Also, he's mainstream. So what happens? Everybody wants collaborations. In some sense, you also kind of dilute yourself, because now you're stretching yourself where you're doing collabs for so many different people, and your presence is like Jovie only pops out when he's releasing music. He has like a few songs here and there with other people, but for the most part, like, he's not so oversaturated, so we're always excited to listen to Jovie as opposed to Boutros, because Boutros is such a huge name now. So it's that dichotomy. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But we'll see. We'll see how the Shrap scene goes, because like as a movement, it's really slowed down. But Jovie is carrying, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, oh my God, we have yapped. Do you want? What else was there to talk about? Well, I just wanna give a shout out to Nairobi R&B. Yeah, they're bringing Sasha Keable to the country, man, and this is off the back of bringing Jules last month. So, bro,
that was Nairobi R&B as well,
man. Yeah, that was Nairobi R&B as well, man. So I just want to give a big shout out to Faye, man, and the whole team over there for like giving people dope experiences. So a lot of people might not know Sasha Keable because she's really bubbling up right now, but big in the UK, like R&B scenes, has a lot of music with K1, has a song that's doing really well with Black, has another song doing really well with Destin Conrad, which is super fire. One of those names who is gonna be like really notable, in the future. So to get her like in this period of her career when she's like skyrocketing, that's insane. And Sam and I were debating over, okay, now she's gonna be in the country.
And you have to do a collab.
Hop into the studio.
Right of
I mean, we
passage.
saw Jules. But we saw Jules in the stew with Benzema and Watenda Willie, right? So I'm trying to see Sasha Keable.
We're trying to see Sasha Keable with
Xenia or some shit.
Yeah. Because, and the conversation, the question was, okay, does she tap into that lane where it's like comfortable for her Aloha, it's the R&B, it's that sound that's pretty similar, or does she go completely left and gets a song with, I don't know, gets a song with an Ywaya Tajiri or something that's not down that R&B lane.
Something that's a bit unpredictable.
Yeah.
And the question is, how much freedom does she even have to do that?
That's the other thing.
The label have expectations,
And as an
most
artist too,
likely
she'll just
people
have
would wanna-
expectations for herself and just the lane she wants to go in.
It's true. I don't know. I feel like the name that makes the most sense is Xenia. Or if she was working with producers, if like she was tapping in with like Ukweli or something like that. Or I don't know. So yeah, either way, man, bro, we can't let her come to the country and all she does is perform and nothing else happens. Bro, that's a wasted opportunity in my opinion, man. Sasha Keable has to come in the country and then we get something more than just the performance. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's how, like, through collaboration is how just like things grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is a side point, but I'm just thinking about it, and I feel like we do need more studios. Because every time these artists come, the only studio we see them is a snowball. Like, we need more studios and more spaces for these artists to be able to create in. It's been slow, and that's not bad because they're obviously, they've done well enough for them to deserve to bring these artists in. But then, yeah, I think it will benefit us to have more big, well-equipped, studios where the vibe is there, so that a lot of these artists there's just more options, because then more options mean, like, I'm thinking about a situation where 3-4 big artists come into the country and they're here for a limited time, and the only place they can go is like a snowball, and that might limit the amount of art that we get from them. But yeah, man, I don't know who she collabs with. We'll wait and see. I might attend that show, honestly, because like you, I thought I did not like you, but then like many people, I thought I did not know who she was until I went to Spotify and I saw that I'm already liking a bunch of her songs. So
of her music,
yeah. So
all right, that should be this month. But yes, speaking, and bro, if Mia was home, I would definitely.
I know you're there. You're going to be there, front line. Yeah, you're going to be there, the first one. They're singing,
crooning. I'll be singing the song. Might even cry. With like. I might, depending on the context.
She doesn't even have any music to cry to, but Rafa will be up there crying.
Oh, no. She does.
Does she?
She does. What are you talking about, Sam? What are you talking about?
You definitely be up there crying.
You need to listen to her. Listen to her older stuff when she did more acoustic-y things, like over just piano. Oh my God, bro.
Yeah,
she has a bag. But yeah, man. New music, man. What did you listen to this week?
New music. Nameless he collaborated with Ywaya Tajiri, which is cool. Out again. Yeah, man. Ywaya Tajiri is working, bro. Like he's really pushing, and I like that he's doing a bunch of different things, like collaborating with different sides of the industry. So that's cool. Speaking of the oldies, King Kaka is still dropping music. I think he's gearing up for a project with Scar. It looks like that. I don't know if it's been announced. I've not really been following that way. But then they've dropped 2 singles. This week they dropped Find Me with... So it's King Kaka, Scam Cardinali, and Njerai, which is an interesting pairing. That wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed that a little bit. What else? Octopizzo dropped June 25th. And again, this is... It's a Manu song, right? Just really chronicling it, and very, very emotional chords. Threw in news clips in there. It was decent. I mean, if you're looking to relieve that and you really like Octopizzo like that, that would be a decent song. Do you have thoughts? I'm going to put you on the spot.
No. Yeah.
Now that you're giving me faces, they put me on the spot.
No. Oh my God, that is giving you faces, bro. No. I actually do respect artists who put like the message. Also, we didn't mention, but like shout out to BN for speaking on our economic situation on that.
Just went and blasted the government. Talk
bro,
about the
that's
government,
amazing for
opposition
him
is the
to do.
people. Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
Exactly, bro. Like, what did he say? Freedom of expression,
But not
there's
freedom,
no
after
freedom
expression.
after expression.
Yeah.
Bars.
I wonder who came up with that.
Shout out to
I
him.
wonder who came up with that. But yeah.
I don't know, but shout out to Mr. Alusa Continua.
Goodness. Yeah, and it was confirmed too. Oh my goodness. I'm so anyway. We'll wait for the songs, luckily. What else did I listen to? There's one other song I want to shout out. Boy Black and Zawadi released a song. It was very interesting. I'm of course a big fan of Boy Black and his raps. Zawadi also rapped. Her rap was really interesting though. It was unexpected. Let me say that. It was very unexpected. And that was pretty cool. So shout out to her. Listen dropped a project recently. Sunwave Records. I don't know if that's the name. I think that might be the name. I'm going off the top of my head. So shout out to him. And lastly, shout out to Mawira, who is back with Vumbi. Hopefully he keeps releasing music and we see more from him. Yeah, I think. Oh wait, and lastly, Let Me Be, Rolling, Krista, and Savara, which is interesting because I did not think about that pairing, pairing the three of them on the track. But that was interesting. I think Savara did well. It's a very relaxed, chill song, and yeah, I enjoyed that one as well. That was about all.
I'm surprised you didn't mention The World by Ochiko. I thought that would be along your
Why did you think that? Yeah, saying that's where you made a mistake.
Because you like that folk. No, it's because you like that.
You're saying that because there's two of us on this platform, and one of us does not listen to that kind of music at all. So now you're automatically going to make the other person.
No. Okay. You know what?
Take it back.
I'm backing off.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ochiko for releasing the song "The World." Another favorite artist of yours, Caleb Awiti, released the song "Pour It Onto Me."
Mombasa's very own. Let's go, bro.
Yeah, shout out to Caleb Awiti. I want to say shout out to Iyana. She released a song with Kobe Banks called "Finally Done with School." Love that like hip hop like chill vibe. There was a song by Mauricio Brigante and Nesmburu. They released a song called Protelele. So, bro, these guys release the Unts jams like every week, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
There's this artist I didn't know too much about called Binoy. He released a song called Beat. He's a Kenyan-born artist, but lives in LA, I believe. So, he's somebody new. I've never heard of him before, but like, shout out to him for releasing some music.
Yep.
Maya Molo dropped the song Guidance, produced by Cap. Man, Cap never disappoints with his production. And I don't think I listened to anything else except for the song that we want to put on today for the end of the podcast, which is 247 by Jovie Jovv and Swahili Papi. Listen, when we talk about a song that makes you want to just like wear black Air Force Ones, go outside, and just
why do black Air Force Ones get such a bad rap? Why? They're shoes. We wear black
because of the people who. It's because of the people who wear them. Like, bro, the people who wear them are usually about that life, gangsters, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, when I listen to Jovie, man, I just feel like, bro, I need to be. And if you know me, you know I'm the least person to be feeling this way. But like, bro, you just feel like, yo,
you're not doing any of that activity. No. You're listening to it in your headphones. Yeah. Good. Stay out of the streets.
But I'm feeling like I'm in the streets, bro. But anyway, shout out to Jovie.
You should have said the way you said that. That didn't even come off hard. It's okay. It's not the life you're built for. And we thank God for that. Yeah.
Let me be honest, I am not built for that life. But anyway, so the song we want to play for the end of the podcast is 247 by Jovie Jovv and Swahili Papi.
247 to go active. tuna geti ganji, mali joni safi, zenyu hazibambi, nipate na kibad bitch, vibe iko fantastic, yani kifanatic, nilipiga hat-trick, nimeivisha tactics, street mathematics, nimepiga practice, sina wasiwasi, drip makamasi, hisi sarakasi, hapa tuko kazi, na mwendo kasi.
Nikichapa yo kitu itiwe ni chapati. Ati dema niuliza kwa ni bed ni ya nini juu hatulali. I used to fuck with a chocolate little bitch. She told me if I was she'll curse me. Baseline, I be stepping on shit. I'm the big makamasi. Ywaya nyoka makasi. Pasta on moto ni pasi. Cut off ties like I'm cutting a kazi. Minding my business and made me a profit. My name is always a topic, but lately I've been on my demon time bully. Good women keep calling me toxic. Yeah.
Niko stu na mabandi hawajulikani, ule totiaji utapigwa pati-pati. Jovie kamlesh patni, magoro zako mbwakni. Niko trap harakati, manze Jovie nikigwangi. Hii ni capitalism, na setiki organism. Hii ni rap symbolism, dema lipata orgasm. Jovie niki-heretic, nimekufia mamelanin. Told the baby Benaki, time nipatie salary. 247 tuko active, tuna geti ganji, mali joni safi, zenyu hazibambi, nipate na kibad bitch, vibe iko fantastic, yani kifanatic, nilipiga hat-trick, nimeivisha tactics, street mathematics, nimepiga practice, sina wasiwasi, drip makamasi, hisi sarakasi, hapa tuko kazi, na mwendo joni kasi.
That was 247 by Jovie Jovv and Swahili Papi. Shout out to them. That was like an insanely tough listen. So hard, so fire. I can't wait for more music from Jovie Jovv, man. This is your year, man. Make sure you stay releasing. Yo, Sam, that's another podcast down the can. If you're new listening to this podcast, I like to end it with the 3 C's. And what are those, you may ask? Well, this is a mantra that I've kind of devised for myself that I thought I would share on the podcast. And what are these 3 C's? Confidence. You need to be confident in your art, in your work. Make sure that confidence is exuding in your work. Believe in yourself a little bit, because when you do, other people will believe in you as well. Consistency. Make sure that you are creating your art consistently as well as releasing consistently. I mean, we can see Jovie Jovv is doing that right now. Releasing consistently is actually giving him a buzz, and it's so dope to see. So make sure you're consistent with how you're creating. And lastly, craft. Always work on your craft. Read something that helps you progress your art. Only 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day is enough for you to start really, really improving. So I know we all have 5 to 10 minutes in our day to dedicate to our craft. So make sure you're doing that. And yeah, man, episode 133, Sam.
Yep. Yeah, thank you guys. We stay safe, stay clean out there. The air is getting dirtier. The politicians are not here to help you. No one will save you. Just live your life.
And on those words, yeah, we will catch you on episode 134. Yep.